We're only here for one reason. We want to win it all. There's only one reason. But most of all, I'm pumped to say hello as Clippers to Paul and Kawhi. Come on! Come on! Come on! Get up! Come on, get up! If you were psyched as I am, get up!
I believe in my friend Doc Rivers. I believe he will figure out who that person is, even if they have to make a move. And so I'm gonna say the Clippers. That team defensively is gonna be great.
Great. I mean,
Great.
All time.
historic.
Yeah.
Clippers, on the other hand, have a team that completely bought in last year with no superstars. You add two of the most selfless superstars in the game that go both ways. Obviously, Paul George's shoulder is going to be a big concern, but I think it's the Clippers' championship to lose this year.
Look at the Clippers, top to bottom, coaching, starter, perimeter, superstars, their depth. I mean, this is where the Lakers fall off. If you remember on Christmas, they had a lead of 12, 13 points, and we thought the Lakers would run away. But then here come the Clippers, the bench. They just wear you down over the course of 48 minutes. And I just see in no scenario the Lakers beating them in the series.
The Clippers not only have the best defensive versatility in the league, yes, the Lakers have a height advantage, but the three-point shooting of the Clippers with Lou Will and Trez on the floor, the Clippers are the best team in basketball.
Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi Leonard. You used to be my favorite player, and I must admit it here publicly. You started to win me back. My heartstrings started to tug when you said no to LeBron James back in July. You bamboozled the king. You took your talents to the Clippers. I loved it. And then you kept winning me back on opening night at Staples when you dominated Kawhi Leonard. You dominated LeBron James and Anthony Davis. So now, Kawhi Leonard, I am back.
Clippers, because of their depth, because of their versatility, especially between guys that are 6'2 to 6'9, they got the most of them in the NBA that can really play. So I'm going with the Clippers.
I think the Clippers are a better team.
Well, they are. And start with the fact defensively. Who's gonna score against the Los Angeles Clippers?
I know.
I mean, it's incredible. And the Lakers are going to be a work in progress. That's just the truth. Kawhi Leonard is so much easier to plug in to any lineup.
Western Conference Finals are going to come down to an all-Staples Center showdown. They share the building.
Which team in LA would you think, Draymond, based on your experience, is the better bunch?
I have a hard time picking against the Clippers.
Who do you think's going to win the West this year? The Clippers.
The Clippers are loaded, and this is going to be like an advanced, organized version of rec ball. They're disruptive defensively. They're the best team in the league at defending isolation plays. That's why the Clippers are my choice to make it to the NBA Finals out of the West.
Clippers or Lakers?
Clippers.
Why?
Clippers. I think their pieces fit together a little bit better.
I have reservations about LeBron being a closer in his 17th year at 35. That's why I can't go with the Lakers.
You understand now that they have Paul George on the team.
Yes.
And Patrick Beverly
Paul
on the
George
team.
is a star.
And Lou
Patrick
Williams
Beverly,
on
my
the
little
team,
brother,
right?
all of that, no
so
doubt.
I don't
No
want
doubt.
to hear from you.
Sure.
When Kawhi gets Finals MVP this year after outplaying and knocking LeBron out in the Western Conference Finals, I'm not trying to hear from you. Well, but they have Paul George to defend him too, and Patrick Beverly, and Lou Williams is a bad brother coming off the bench. I'm not trying to hear that. LA, who love the Lakers, but the Clippers are going to make new generations of fans now. That will ultimately eat into the Lakers market. They didn't do it in the Blake Griffin, CP3, DeAndre Jordan era because they weren't good enough. The Lakers left the window open. The Clippers closed it for them, right? But this Clippers team, I'm telling you right now, will win a championship, and I believe that will happen this year. And when that happens, you will create this season. When that happens, they will create new fans in LA that are Clippers fans instead of Lakers fans.
Just by talent, by depth, by their offensive production when they hit, when their defense is right. This is a team that's second to none. All those things have to click tonight, so they will click tonight. Clippers win.
Look,
I'm doing my best Charles Barkley impersonation. I am guaranteeing a Clipper win tonight.
Wow.
Guaranteeing a Clipper win. I think Paul George and Kawhi are going to do what we've expected them to do all season. Part of the reason why I'm guaranteeing a victory is because I still have the Clippers as my champions, and my rest of my postseason is a wrap.
You need to stick with that. Got you.
I got to stick with it.
You have a great coach in Doc Rivers who's already won a championship. You have guys who play defense, right? You have guys who are dogs who get after it.
Love my guys. I love you guys in Denver. Look, Jamal, Jokic, I played with those guys. Last team I played with, I love you guys. But I just think the Clippers are going to get it done tonight.
Get it. It's easy to do that, but they don't win every year. It's the same thing with LeBron. LeBron and AD. What does AD want?
Kawhi Leonard is a cyborg sent from the future
Totally,
with no
totally
emotions.
understand. Totally now. That wasn't always the case.
Listen to me.
I understand. I get it. I get it.
At the end of this season, the Western Conference Finals, you understand now.
By myself, and I'm telling you that the Clippers will win the NBA championship this year.
You think you're in the wilderness on that?
Yeah, to win it.
Who is saying otherwise? Who is saying?
No, I'm not saying. People are saying they have a chance. I don't know how many people are saying they're going to win it. I'm going to tell you the next two NBA champions.
Go ahead.
Clippers this year and the Brooklyn Nets next year. Those are the next 2 years. I love what they did. They have a smart, rich owner.
Yep.
They have a great coach. They have something already in place.
You know what they have, though? They have an identity.
Yes, that's what they have it.
I would love to see LeBron win this championship and the MVP for that matter. But I just think the Clippers are better.
The Clippers made a huge statement. They said, watch this. They said, when it comes to defense, we are in a league of our own.
Telling me how wrong I am about their Lakers and how they're going to win the championship. And LeBron is the king. And AD's the best player in the league. And Vogel is an unbelievable coach. And Magic Johnson should get credit because he put this together. The two teams that are in their way are the Clippers and the Bucks.
All right, Western Conference Finals, Lakers versus the Clippers.
Clippers have won both meetings. Clippers now, by acquiring another forward, have 4 players who can defend LeBron James. This Laker team, we watched it again last night. When LeBron's off the floor, it's not the same team. It's not the same offense. This will be the Clippers in pretty short work, 5 games.
In short work?
Yeah. I think it's a bad matchup.
Doesn't even go 7?
Nope. Oh, God, no. 7? No.
That hasn't even practiced together yet, these two. By March, April, May, they're going to be better than your team.
Kawhi Leonard is better than LeBron James. That's the
At this stage, Kawhi is a better player than LeBron. He does everything better. He's a better defender, a better scorer. He's better at imposing his will on the game. Guys, is Barkley saying Kawhi is a better player than LeBron right now? BS or real talk? We got your signs. Ooh.
Oh my God. Oh my goodness. There's 2 minutes and 10 seconds left in this game and it is over. The Denver Nuggets are up 20! 20! It's over!
If you bet somebody that your team and their team was going to play in the Western Conference Finals and their team didn't make it, do they still owe you money? Run me my money.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to First Things First. I'm Jenna Wolf, Nick Wright, Brandon Marshall, Kevin Wilds. And guys, maybe. All right. Okay. This has been going on.
Rocking them sockolies. Oh. When you wet the bed like that in the last 12 minutes of a game 7, that's a choke. That's a choke job. You see me choking now?
They, just didn't show up to play. In a lot of people say, well, Paul George along with Kawhi Leonard didn't handle their business in game 7. I put more of that on the game plan and Doc Rivers as the head coach about what it was that he put together for them to execute, and clearly it didn't work out.
Did the expectations, were they ever too heavy for this team?
No, we didn't meet them.
That's the bottom line. I'm the coach, and I'll take any blame for it. But we didn't meet our expectations, clearly, because we had, in my opinion, we'd still be playing.
Trip, you even had a situation, Lou Williams missed an uncontested layup during that run. So those three guys to go 13 for 49, your three best offensive players in a Game 7, there is no question the pressure got to them in the fourth quarter. It affected their ability to make shots, and as a result, Denver sensed it, they felt it, they took control, and then they ran them into the ground over the last 6 minutes of the game.
It's a beautiful morning, again. It's a beautiful morning.
Beautiful morning.
I got a great night's sleep. Jamal Murray, Yoke, they did their thing, Skip. Ooh, how you doing, Skip?
I'm not here.
Yo, yeah, you here. You right here. You right
I'm
across
not doing the show.
Well, you know what?
You can do it by yourself.
No. Snoop sent me a little something for you. Say, but give Skip one of these. It'll calm him down, and everything will be okay in about 15, 20 minutes.
This is one of the great, if not the greatest, choke job we have seen by a superstar in Kawhi Leonard.
The loss last night wasn't devastating. It was a tragedy. It was a tragedy.
Three blown 3-1 lead for Doc.
Yes. Nick, to which I say, maybe the Clippers needed that rah-rah speech after all yesterday that was so easily dismissed.
You should have given it to him. It wouldn't have gone any worse if Jenna was on the sidelines, I promise you.
Let us get...
This is about the best player in the NBA, which he's never been. But people got so mad at LeBron. They get so tired of talking about LeBron.
People do?
Yes. Ooh. Yes, everybody. You know him.
There are 9 billion blind witnesses. The world is blind.
No, we're talking about analysts. We're talking about analysts. They've been trying to give this guy the mantle, the pedestal, for the last 3 to 4 years. Although he's never won a regular season MVP, he's never been the best player in the NBA.
Yep.
Who's lost more 3-1 leads?
Doc.
Okay, then. Who has more Game 7 losses than any other coach in NBA history?
Who has the second most Game 7 wins in NBA history to Red Auerbach?
Whoa.
Doc.
Whoa. Second most.
Yep.
Who has the most L's? The most L's.
6 and 8.
Skip.
Yep.
The man has blown 3-1 deficit. You remember in Orlando, Skip?
I do.
Had Tracy McGrady. Tracy McGrady said it's going to be so great to go to the second round. Up 3-1. Boom.
Yep.
Skip Bayless, this is the ultimate choke job, and I want to see you wiggle this one.
Lou Will was horrible this entire postseason.
There is no excuse for this. Or when Pat Bev, when Kawhi Leonard and Paul George are on the floor, they're 11-0. And then they were 11-1. And then it was 13-1. And y'all, nobody can beat them. Oh, no one can beat this team. The Nuggets spotted them 2 games and walked them. Skip Bayless, this is embarrassing. I told you nothing will kill a legacy more than expectation because that's what he had. He wanted Paul George. I bet he wish he had Kyle Lowry now. I bet he had Pascal Siakam now. This is utterly ridiculous. This is embarrassing.
And I think this has hurt Kawhi Leonard's legacy.
I'm looking at 3 dudes. I'm looking at Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, and Lou Williams. When you came to L.A., Sweet Lou, Lemon Pepper Lou, Doc Rivers said, you're a scorer. Be here to score. Mad respect for Lou. 2-time 6 Man of the year. We know how special he is. You're supposed to be able to stop the bleeding. You couldn't do it. The best part about Lou Williams last night was his press conference, because his press conference, he spoke very eloquently and very fluently about what ailed this team. That was the best part about him. Paul George, we can point to the numbers. They're bad enough. But you know what makes it worse, KP? When you're standing alone for a wide open 3 in the right corner in the fourth quarter and you hit the side of the backboard. The side of the backboard. This is when Denver is pulling away and the Clippers desperately need a shot.
Montrezl Harrell, you are the 6th man. You won the 6th Man of the Year award. You could not do nothing. You was pounding your chest after you was scoring 8 points and giving up 20 on the other end because Big Jokic was having it his way. And Patrick Beverly, you talking about before the bubble, check ball. Marcus Smart is what we thought Patrick Beverly should have been.
This has happened to me once before. with respect to LeBron James. When in 2016, in the midst of a 73-win season, Steph Curry looked unstoppable, going back 4 years already. And I said, I know a guy like Steph is never the best player in the world, his size and everything. LeBron's so much more athletic. But given the rules today, Steph has surpassed LeBron. And I had to eat my words then when LeBron led them on a comeback in a Game 7 to win at Oracle. And in the last almost 5 minutes of the fourth quarter, the greatest half-court offense ever didn't score a point, led by Steph Curry, who turned the ball over. And I had to come out and say, oops, sorry, LeBron, you're still the king after all. Look, this morning I have to say, at this moment, whoops, 4 years after that fact, sorry, LeBron, you're still the best player in the world after all. Kawhi blew it.
Are you finished? I just want to make sure because I want to give you all the time you need. Now I want to give you all the time you need. Are you finished? Because once I get in, I don't want to be interrupted. I want to give you the floor because I don't want to be interrupted.
About when I get
puppets? Are you sure?
Sock puppets? I'm finished for now. Depends on what you say.
Okay. First of all, your little soliloquy right there shows why when it comes to the sport of basketball, you should be banned from talking about the sport. Your take was embarrassing. After all of this noise that you have made all of these years about Kawhi Leonard, you come on national television. I give you the top of the show. I step back. I got my team do this right here, Max. Got my team right here. Listen, man. Look, man, I stepped back, Max. I gave you the floor, and your response to the American public after the drivel you have subjected us all to for the last several years was, whoops, I blew it. That's the best you can do. Right there, Max Kellerman. I mean, talk about somebody that should shell up. If not flat out, I don't want to hear whoops. No. I mean, you owe America a public apology. You owe the basketball gods a public apology. Kawhi Leonard, he wasn't even the third option when he was in San Antonio and he won the league MVP. And then last year, there was no Kevin Durant and Klay Thompson went down. He shouldn't have won last year. This was the first time in his career he was the number one dude. All the pressure was on him, and he flat out choked. There is no way around this. Floor's yours.
Yeah, he choked. That's right.
I'm not finished, but the floor's yours.
As John Maynard Keynes, Stephen A. said,
he choked,
famous economist.
That's all you got.
When the facts change, so does my opinion. What about you, sir?
Did you bring up
last year when you showed that clip?
Did you just bring up an economist?
Let's start.
Did
now
you
I have
just
to
bring up an
debunk
economist?
all the bunk that you just spewed.
First of all, I did not cry myself to sleep last night. I'm not a fan of the Clippers. Just because I picked them to win and I was wrong doesn't mean that it's the end of the world. Sometimes I don't understand if people actually get, or do they think like because you make a pick or because you pick against somebody else, you hate that person or that team or you're a fan of it?
I was thinking about, because you're right. I mean, like I said yesterday, we're not cheerleaders.
Right.
I've never been a Clippers fan. I mean, obviously we try to be objective generally, but you've never been a Clippers fan. But you do pull for the team, your picks, because you want to be right?
We talk about it all the time.
And
that's
we joke,
our job.
And we brag,
yes.
and we bragging rights and all that.
I have never seen a team collapse the way the Clippers collapsed. I've seen lots of back and forth seesaw battles where the underdog finally wound up winning Game 7 and shocking the prohibitive favorite.
Right.
They utterly got devastated and blown off the floor by a team that psychologically owned them in all the moments that mattered.
But Skip, you told me they were the most mentally toughest team. That's why they were going to beat the Lakers.
I agree that it wasn't just me. I heard it from all the analysts.
Who said it?
Everybody, starting with our Chris Broussard, who's going to join us. He was the first to say on this show, the Clippers just got too many dogs. And we're talking about mentally tough dogs.
Yes.
And for 3 straight fourth quarters, they turned into nothing but choking dogs.
Yes.
They turned back into the sorry, laughingstock, belong in the basement Clipper.
I got videotape for you, Max Kellerman. Brian Bork, our producer extraordinaire. Give me highlight number 1, please. Take it away. Play it.
He's in the conversation for greatest defensive player who ever lived. You don't even really think about his offense, except right now, he's shooting 60% from the field in the playoffs. A former Finals MVP before he entered his prime is shooting 60 in the playoffs. Best offensive player, including KD, who's also in his prime, but Kawhi's not playing with Steph and Clay. So under pressure, yes, Kawhi is better than Kobe was.
The Clippers just make me sick.
We the real LA. When you want your hair cut, don't use a pair of clippers. Come call a Laker. We'll clip you up. Real tough. Lake Show, up 1-0.
Clippers have never been my beloved Clippers, okay? They're only beloved to the few dozen Angelinos. No. You talk about it, Nick, like I grew up some Clippers fan. There's a few dozen Angelinos.
You've seemed like it all year.
Beloved Clippers. No, I have been on the Clippers since Christmas, but I am now off of them. All right? I am off of the Clippers.
Whoa.
They have upset me so much now.
Broussard, I reject your resignation of the Clippers.
You know, Chris, I've been watching you for 15 years on television.
Yeah.
I have lost all respect for you. I've lost all respect for you. There's no way you can stand up here on national television and go back. This is your team.
Yes. That everybody in LA ridicules and laughs at, and last night they were even worse than the old worst Clippers.
Even you returned them to the basement. You told them to go back to the basement.
Go back to the basement where you belong.
So the Nuggets end up getting the win, 104-89, and on their coach's birthday. Go, Mike, it's your birthday. Party like it's your birthday.
I'm going to go with the Lakers, and I'll tell you why. Because I look at a LeBron James who's rested, who's motivated. We know, Greeny, that he watched The Last Dance because he tweeted about it. Maybe he channels his inner MJ.
Y'all know this, fool. Y'all know this, fool. Y'all know this, fool.